Let's bring on the Mountaineers. Goes around the basket, 50, the 10 to 5. A touchdown with Virginia. He did it. He did it. Left with White. Peterson. He's gone. Touchdown. Tavon Austin. As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Golden Blue football.
They want to have a 7-on-7 drill. We want to make it a fist fight. Nothing cheap, nothing dirty, but West Virginia football.
From the heart. Streaming. It's Mountaineer pride. Leave no doubt tonight. No doubt. They shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue.
West Virginia is a special place. People are the state that have great pride in this WV logo.
Ain't no stopping the Golden Blue.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome back into the Country Roads webcast here for an emergency live stream, as it was just broke today that Neal Brown and West Virginia have agreed on a contract extension. Funny enough, I actually was getting ready to go to work, got to leave here in about an hour or so, and started hearing rumors about this. So I went ahead and made a thumbnail for a video. I was like, well, if the news breaks, today or tomorrow or some point this week, I'll have the thumbnail ready to do a video. So I got done doing that, and, not probably 10, 15 minutes after I finished that, I got the text from ESPN saying they were finalizing the deal, pulled up the ESPN article. I didn't have the contract details yet, but by that time, Metro News already put an article up, and, of course, now we have the official release from WVU side of things, the official press release. That's what we'll read through here momentarily, but what you need to know right here at the top, Neal Brown contract extension, new deal running through 2027. Don't know the exact details. Haven't looked at it yet. It's going to be a true live reaction with you guys. I know this is early on a weekday morning, so not a lot of people may hop in here live. But if you are in here live, drop your thoughts there in the chat. As always, I'll touch on some of those throughout. Probably won't be with you guys too long. Like I said, got to get ready to go to work here in a bit. But wanted to report on this news of the Neal Brown contract extension as it happened when I had the chance to actually do so here. So let's pull up the article from WVUsports.com announcing this contract extension for Coach Neal Brown. There you see is the graphic there, which they shared when they announced it. Brown signs contract extension. Michael Forgale wrote this one. Just announced 10:29 a.m., so, less than a half hour ago pretty much. West Virginia University Vice President and Director of Athletics Ren Baker and head football coach Neal Brown have agreed to terms on a one-year contract extension. The extension keeps Brown under contract for the next 4 years and runs through the 2027 season. And we get Ren Baker's statement here. I'm pleased with the progress I've seen in our football program since arriving last year. I believe this contract amendment allows us to continue to build on our momentum as we begin our first year in the new and expanded Big 12 Conference. I'm appreciative of the effort Coach Brown and his staff put in developing the young people in our program, both on and off the field. Then it talks about, of course, coming off the 9-win season. Then Neal Brown here with his statement. My first priority was retaining and rewarding our assistant coaches and support staff who have played such a critical role in our success. I appreciate Ren's support on that front, as well as his continued commitment to me and what we are building. We share a common vision for this program, and that alignment is critical to our continued success. There are great things ahead, and I can't wait to see our incredible fans back in Milan Puskar Stadium on August 31st, and what a game that will be, of course. And then they talk about spring practice kicking off on March 25th, Golden Blue spring game April 27th, Penn State visiting for the first time since 92, probably going to be a ranked matchup, and now we know our head coach has been extended as well, new deal for him. I'm sure that we'll have in-depth details on this contract as far as what the money changed and stuff like that. I'm sure the buyout probably is more friendly for West Virginia. That's probably one reason they wanted to do this. Neal Brown had a hefty buyout, and so maybe it's less guaranteed money. Maybe the buyout lowers. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Metro News, I know, had something up on it. They may have the contract details here, but let's see what we got. Oh, maybe. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to exit it off and pull it back up. Here we are. So Neal Brown's contract extended 1 year through 2027. Like I said, this is from WV Metro News. Greg Carey. They share the same statements as well. Here we got some details here on the contract, guys. Sources tell Metro News the contract renewal will decrease Brown's annual salary over each of the next 3 years from $4.1 million to $4 million in 2024. 4.2 to 4 million in 2025 and 4.4 to 4.3 million in 2026. So those were the first numbers that it was showing on each of those years was, the original contract. The second number is the updated. That's probably for Neal Brown to have more money to spend on his assistants to try and keep his staff intact, make additions as they need as well, which it looks like that's what they go on to say here. Brown is foregoing $400,000 in increases over the next 3 years to reinvest more into the program, including staff salary. See, that's pretty awesome right there. That just shows that Neal Brown's committed to continuing to not only have the success they had this past season, but to go beyond that, continue developing this program. So it gets you really excited when you hear something like that. Brown previously worked under a buyout that would have required West Virginia to pay him 100% of his remaining salary had he been fired on or before December 31st, 2024, and 85% if he were fired in 2025. Under the new deal, Brown is paid 75% of his remaining salary if he's fired at any point during the length of the contract. If Brown leaves for another job at any point under the revamped contract, he is to pay 10% of his remaining total salary. Previously, Brown was required to pay 25% of his remaining salary had he left, and 12.5% of the remaining salary had he left in 2025. 5 seasons into his tenure as Mountaineer football coach, Brown had been working under a contract set to expire after 2026. Now it'll last through 2027. Brown is 31-29, including a 2024 big record in Big 12 conference play. Expect that to be a winning record in conference play after this season. He's already, turned his overall record around into an above 500 record last year. He's going to do the same with his conference record this year. That's my guarantee there. Prior to 2023, when the Mountaineers finished 6-3 in the league after being chosen last among 14 teams, Brown had never won more than 4 conference games. So it just shows that we're getting to the point now where they had wanted to reach, and now they're just trying to go beyond that. So good deal here on West Virginia's overall decision to extend Brown, in my opinion, because I think not only does it help as far as staff additions, obviously he's trying to forego some of his salary to keep this staff together, which is big and shows a lot on his part of how much WVU's success means to him more than his own salary, I guess. But also I think it's good for West Virginia because that buyout was very hefty. That helps on their end. So I think it's good for everyone involved here and looks really good for the program as well and for recruits. Previously Neal Brown's job being in question and being on the quote unquote, the proverbial hot seat heading into last season, I think hurt West Virginia, in getting transfers. You've seen kind of the antithesis of that this offseason. West Virginia done a phenomenal job in this first transfer portal window. I expect that to continue post spring if they need to make any additions at that time. And of course, this is going to help with recruiting high schoolers as well, knowing you have a coach that's solidified for the next 4 years through 2027. So just wanted to get on here with you guys, kind of share my thoughts on this breaking news for West Virginia here. Like I said, want to keep it as brief as possible. No, it's throughout a work day, so not a lot of people may be able to tune into this live, but if you are in here live, hit the thumbs up button, helps a ton with the YouTube algorithm, or if you're watching after the fact on a playback, still push that like button, hitting that thumbs up button will help a ton. And if you didn't get a chance to share your thoughts in the chat here, drop them in the comments. We can have a little dialogue there still yet, and I always appreciate those interactions. They help to grow the Country Roads webcast community throughout Mountaineer Nation, and I think this is very positive news for WVU football, and we're going to continue to be releasing news on WVU football here on the CRW as spring practice gets closer and closer to starting. As Brandon Calfee says here in the chat, see you in there, Brandon, appreciate you, man. He says, I'm excited for this team. Hey, me and you both. I think that this is probably the most anticipated WVU season since, at least 2018. So you're talking, 6 years, and the most anticipated season opener in, 20, 30 years. I've got a ton to talk about in regards to that. I want to save some of that for when we get closer to spring, because we're going to delve into those storylines. We're going to be having one of these live streams per week, of course, when spring football practice starts, and then do the same in the fall. So be a ton more content, and I'm sure we'll talk more about this Neal Brown contract extension as well in the near future. But it definitely, continues the good vibes that West Virginia ended last season with and have carried throughout this offseason, leading into now spring football that has me very excited for this team as well. So can't wait to see what happens when spring football kicks off and we get to see this team in action, and we'll be reporting on that here on the CRW. And if any other details come out in regards to Neal Brown's contract or any of the other assistant coaches' contracts, we'll talk about that here as well. And hopefully if you can get a chance to tune into this one live, you can hop into the next live stream with us and chat a little bit. But appreciate you guys that did hop in here live. If you're watching the playback, always appreciate that as well. Having said that, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.